Before bedtime, my daughter insisted on wanting to see her dad, so I opened Weibo to show her Owen Gray's videos, but unexpectedly, what opened was his clarification video. In the video, he made a serious statement, his tone filled with warning, "You're not married, you don't have children. Spreading rumors will hold you legally accountable. If I find out someone is spreading malicious rumors with ulterior motives, I won't let them off the hook." These two cold, blunt sentences hit me straight in the heart. It felt like they were pointedly aimed, stinging me so badly I could barely breathe. Mom, Dad said he doesn't have any children. Then who am I? Does Dad not want me anymore? Our daughter had already started kindergarten, and she's always been clever. Hearing these words, she immediately burst into tears. Tears streaked the little girl's face, filled with grievance and confusion. I held her tightly in my arms, feeling as if my heart were being torn apart. Owen spent most of his time on set, rarely coming home, and when he did, he was mostly resting, seldom playing with the child. Choo-Choo had always lacked her father's companionship, which made her very sensitive in nature. I look at the tiny daughter in my arms. All those Owen feelings I couldn't shake off seemed to vanish in an instant. I gently wipe away my daughter's tears with my fingertip. Choo-Choo, sleep now. When you wake up, Mama will take you home. Back to the home that belongs only to Choo-Choo and Mom. After lulling my daughter to sleep, I return to the room I share with Owen. Looking at the wedding photo on the bedside, I was reminded of the scene when we took those wedding photos. The wedding photos were taken only after I begged him relentlessly. He said that as a public figure, these photos could easily get leaked and affect his career. I pleaded with him for 3 days before he finally agreed to take this one photo. During the shoot, he kept a cold expression the entire time. While I smiled like a fool who had finally gotten her wish, after it was done, he repeatedly warned me not to leak it. At that time, I prioritized his career and didn't think much of it. But now, looking back, every single incident was a sign. He never wanted to acknowledge us. I took down the photo frame, smashed it, and retrieved the picture. Then I took scissors and completely cut the photo into pieces. The moment the photo was torn apart, I knew it was time to say goodbye to the past. Owen returned home 10 days later. The film crew wrapped up shooting. I was playing with my daughter in the yard when he returned. Instead of rushing to her father as usual, my daughter pulled me toward the father garden. She was upset Owen's words and resisted any contact with him. Owen didn't take it to heart when he saw his daughter like this and simply turned to go inside. But soon, the servant came to find me. "Madam, the master asks you to go upstairs for a moment." Millimeter. I responded indifferently and turned to Choo-Choo, saying, "Sweetheart, Mommy has something to attend to. I'll come back to play with you in a little while. Would you like to play with Auntie?" There was reluctance in my daughter's eyes, but she obediently agreed. Seeing my young daughter suppressing her true feelings at such a tender age, I decided to resolve my marital issues as soon as possible and take her away from here. An unhealthy marital relationship has a significant impact on a child's development. I went straight to the master bedroom. When I entered, Owen was packing his luggage. He always handles his own things and doesn't like me touching them. Early in our marriage, thinking he worked hard filming, I once gathered his dirty clothes for him when he returned. He got really angry about it. At that time, I thought he was just being overly particular about cleanliness. Looking back now, it was because we had never truly been close. What married couple fusses over so many things? Owen stood up when he saw me enter and spoke with some displeasure. "Beth Cole, what tantrum are you throwing now?" I froze for a moment, then followed his gaze and understood. "Oh, the photo is outdated. I lost it." His brows furrowed tightly, his cold eyes showing a hint of impatience. "Beth, you know I'm a public figure. Exposing our relationship isn't good. Wasn't this agreed upon from the start? You've always understood before. Why are you making a fuss now?" See, he actually knew all along what I cared about, yet he chose to ignore, to disregard my feelings and pain. Moreover, there have been numerous rumors online about him being married with children before, and he always turned a blind eye to them. Why is he so serious about debunking the rumors this time? Owen walked up to me, softening his tone. "Beth, stop making a scene. Okay, my job is special. Can't you try to understand?" He reached out to wrap his arm around my waist. leaning down to kiss me, but I turned my head away, avoiding him directly. A flicker of surprise crossed his face before his expression instantly turned cold. Beth, are you going to keep making a scene? In 5 years of marriage, I've never refused him. Every time he returns from filming, we spend long hours entangled in bed. He's not a qualified husband, but he is a qualified sexual partner. Only when I'm intimate with him do I feel his passion. I used to look forward to coming home. Only in bed can I sense that he actually likes me too. But now, I feel nothing when he touches me, even feeling repulsed. They say that when you like someone, your body's reaction is the most honest, and when you don't love someone, it's the same. I pulled my hand away and took a step back. Looking at him, I said very seriously, Owen, let's get a divorce. After saying it, I felt somewhat ironic. When we got married, all we did was get a certificate, nothing else. Now, getting divorced only requires going to get a certificate as well. Getting married and divorced quietly, isn't that exactly what he wanted? Owen's impatient eyes grew colder, just because of a clarification video. Right, he thinks I'm being unreasonable. I used to love him. Even when he denied my existence and wanted me to be an invisible grey wife, I accepted it willingly. But now, he won't even acknowledge his own child. The thought of my daughter asking why her father doesn't recognize her, and the hurt in her voice, breaks my heart. I'm very, very bothered by what he said, so bothered that I can't stay under the same roof with him, can't continue the marriage. Owen didn't realize my resolve, instead grew even more annoyed. Beth, stop throwing tantrums. I'm exhausted after wrapping up filming. Yet I'm patiently trying to comfort you. After 5 years of marriage, he always speaks in this condescending tone, as if I were just one of his possessions. To be summoned and dismissed at will, suppressing the sting in my nose, I desperately held back my on the verge of breaking emotions and said with utmost seriousness, Owen, I'm not throwing a tantrum. I want a divorce. I won't take a single penny from you. I won't claim anything you've bought. I just want the child. Yet, to my surprise, he didn't care at all, merely scoffing. So now you're using the child to force me to go public. His gaze was as cold as the winter wind and snow. It also made me soberly realize that all the love I've felt over these years was nothing but a joke from start to finish. Once I was Owen's fervent fan. His acting, his looks, everything about him drove me wild. Later, by coincidence, we came into contact and became friends. My fondness for him gradually turned into love. So, when he proposed to me 5 years ago, I agreed without hesitation. I never bothered to question whether he loved me or not. As long as I loved him, that was enough. At the time, my parents strongly opposed it. They said actors are fickle, and that I had been too sheltered growing up, making me unsuitable to marry someone like him. Yet I clung to the most beautiful fantasies about love. Willing to break with my parents just to be with him. He's the one I love, and I'd be perfectly content just to marry him. Even if you don't approve of him, I still believe we'll be happy together. But now, reality keeps slapping me in the face, each blow piercing my heart. Since it's a tumor that's causing me unbearable pain, I'll cut it out completely. I refuse to compromise any longer. Beth, don't mention this publicly again. I'll pretend today never happened. With that, he turned and headed to the bathroom. He's warning me to know when to stop, but I'm no longer willing to do things that merely offer temporary relief. Owen's agent has never liked me, and she likes Choo Choo even less. She believes Owen's marriage to me would greatly hinder Owen's career, ruining the person she painstakingly built up. Now I'm willing to initiate the divorce. She should be the most delighted to see it happen. Within a couple of days, Owen's agent received the news and came to see me. The moment they stepped through the door, they couldn't wait to speak. I heard you're willing to divorce now. You're not playing some reverse psychology trick, are you? I'm telling you, it's useless because Shu Lu has returned to the country. Her eyes gleamed with malicious schadenfreude. Do you think Owen would have made such a serious clarification about being unmarried and childless this time if it weren't to avoid being misunderstood by Shu Lu? They've always been the golden couple of the entertainment industry, with countless shippers, and everyone is hoping for their reunion. If it weren't for Shu Lu going abroad for further studies 5 years ago and breaking up with Owen, you wouldn't have had the chance to take advantage of the situation and marry Owen. Lena kept talking about Owen and Shulu's past, but I listened with a pale face. Yes, Owen used to clarify these rumors when he encountered them. But he had never been this serious before. This time, it seemed as if to prove something to certain people, it came with a warning. I knew Shulu, the youngest best actress in the entertainment industry, renowned for her acting skills and fame, but I never knew Owen had actually dated her. I always thought it was just for publicity. Even more unexpected, Owen's unforgettable first love was her. Now that I think about it, many things add up. 5 years ago, Owen suddenly proposed to me. Right around the time Shulu announced her retirement from the industry, the woman he loved left, so he just married someone at random. Seeing Lena constantly praising Shulu makes it clear how pleased she is that Shulu and Owen are together. After all, a powerful alliance can make Owen increasingly popular, bringing her even more benefits. Beth, as a woman, you should know your place. Owen doesn't love you, so you should divorce and step aside. A marriage without love is meaningless. And you're suffering too, aren't you? Lena's words were absolutely right. This marriage has been nothing but painful for me. After she left, I sat alone on the sofa for a long time. I looked at everything around me, gradually growing numb. I took out my phone and finally opened WeChat, which I hadn't used in years. Chi knew. I want to come home. Can you pick me up? Early the next morning, I began packing my and my child's belongings. Once Owen and I get the divorce certificate, we can leave immediately. However, Owen woke up and saw me like this. His face instantly darkened. Beth, how much longer are you going to keep this up? He roared at me, his face twisted with fury. My daughter, who had been helping me pack my luggage, instantly hid behind me in fright. Her small hands clutched tightly at my clothes. I gently kissed her little cheek to comfort her. Don't be afraid, Mommy's here. After coaxing her to go downstairs to play, I finally looked up at Owen. I'm not being unreasonable. I truly want a divorce from you. Here's the divorce agreement. Take a look. I don't want any of your assets, just choo-choo. As I spoke, I handed him the divorce papers. Owen felt he had given me a way out, but I refused to take it. He grew even more agitated. Beth, think carefully. What man would want a divorced woman with a child? You have a child with an Oscar-winning father, and I've never mistreated you or your daughter. What more could you possibly want? Is it really necessary to threaten divorce over a mere statement? It's true that he's never mistreated me. Money has never been an issue. But what about love? Neither my daughter nor I have ever received his love. The daughter couldn't say who her father was and was called a fatherless bastard at school. I couldn't say who my husband was and could only endure being called someone's kept mistress. These 5 years of marriage have brought nothing but pain to me and my child. I looked into his eyes and spoke firmly. Owen, it's necessary. Because of my firm attitude, I completely angered him. He looked at me gloomily and warned, Beth, I'm saying this for the last time. If you keep making a scene, I will really divorce you. Couldn't ask for more. After speaking, I ignored him and continued packing my luggage. Owen was about to lose his temper when the phone suddenly rang. He impatiently took out his phone. But his expression softened instantly upon seeing the caller's name. What's wrong? Which hospital? I'll be right there. He hung up the phone, tossed the divorce agreement aside casually, and hurried downstairs. At the doorway, he paused and turned to look at me. Beth, put everything back before I return. And I won't hold these days of nonsense against you. Owen left in a hurry without waiting for my reply, because he was certain I was just throwing a tantrum. And equally certain I would know when to stop. After all, for these past 5 years, I had given him the impression that I loved him desperately, that I would listen to whatever he said. But this time, his certainty was about to be proven wrong. I had just returned from withdrawing Choo-Choo from kindergarten when I saw Owen helping a woman out of the car. His gentle and careful demeanor was unbearably irritating to my eyes. In the past, I would have cried and accused him, demanding to know why he brought another woman home. But now, I chose to ignore them, walking straight past without even sparing a glance. Just as I reached the door, Owen stopped by. Beth, didn't you see we have a guest? Is this how you treat visitors? His opening words were full of displeased reproach, blaming me for neglecting his beloved. I turned to look at them and was about to speak when Shulu spoke first. Miss Cole. I've been harassed by obsessive fans and my home isn't safe, so I came to Owen's place to recuperate, she explained in a weak voice, her pale little face truly evoking pity in anyone who saw her. Any man seeing her like this would surely be heartbroken, yet I could detect a hint of provocation in her words. Owen brought her home, and she must have known about my relationship with Owen, yet with just one mention of Colmiss, she completely excluded me, but I don't care anymore. From the moment I filed for divorce, I was no longer Owen's wife. This is the Grey family's home, no need to explain to me. With that, I stopped arguing with them and turned to leave. After I left, the two at the door fell into a brief silence. Shulu looked at Owen with concern and said, "Owen, Miss Cole, doesn't she welcome me?" "No, Beth isn't a petty person," Owen replied calmly, then added, "She is my wife. From now on, you can call her by her name or Mrs. Grey, but no longer Miss Cole." Shulu's expression stiffened for a moment before she quickly smiled and apologized. "My apologies, that was an oversight on my part." Owen led Shulu to the guest room on the second floor, which had already been prepared by the servants before their return. Shulu was overjoyed the moment she spotted the lilies on the windowsill as she entered the room. "You remembered I love lilies, and even prepared them specially." Owen paused for a moment when his gaze fell upon the windowsill. He actually didn't recall that Shulu liked lilies, just because Beth liked them. The servants had grown accustomed to preparing lilies, and for the past 5 years, the house had been almost exclusively adorned with lilies. "Owen, you're so thoughtful. I really love this surprise." Shulu smiled as she thanked him, a fleeting look of determination flashing in her eyes. Owen didn't respond, instead thinking of Beth. These past few days Beth has been giving him the cold shoulder. And seeing him bring Shulu home today is likely to make her even more upset. She's usually easy to placate, just a little softening on his part, and she'll stop making a fuss. But this time she's actually threatening divorce. It seems she's truly been spoiled by him. He needs to properly discipline her and make her understand that divorce isn't something to be mentioned lightly. Owen was about to go back to his room to pack up Beth, but he was suddenly grabbed by Shulu. "Owen, could you stay with me a little longer? I'm scared." He looked at the woman before him, her eyes slightly red at the corners. She possesses the beauty of a mature woman now, more so than 5 years ago, like aged red wine overflowing with fragrance, utterly tantalizing. Completely different from when she first entered the entertainment industry. Back then she was vibrant with youth, pure and unblemished. She is even more beautiful now, yet his heart no longer stirs in the slightest. Instead, another face surfaces in his mind, not as beautiful as the woman before him, but fairer and flawless, with even clearer eyes. She was always particularly delicate, and every time he saw her face, he couldn't help but bully her fiercely in bed. At this moment, Owen suddenly wanted to hurry back to his room. Beth liked to throw little tantrums, but he could easily coax her. After all, she was his woman. He gently moved Shulu's hand aside. "The security here is very professional. Those obsessive fans won't be able to get in. Rest well. Once things are settled at your place, I'll take you back." Shulu looked at him with grievance, tears involuntarily rolling down her cheeks. "Owen, do you think I'm disturbing you too?" "No, right after returning to China, Sister Lena told me about you clarifying the rumors. I thought you did it for me. During these years abroad, I was absolutely convinced you'd wait for me, even if there was someone temporarily by your side. I was confident you'd eventually return to me, but now, it seems like our tacit understanding has been broken by her." Owen felt inexplicably irritable, even somewhat impatient. Perhaps he initially intended to clarify things with that intention, but now even he couldn't tell anymore. These past 2 days, Beth had been constantly arguing with him about divorce, which made him increasingly agitated. "You should get some rest first." He avoided addressing what Shulu had said and simply turned to leave. Owen returned to the bedroom and saw Beth waiting for him, his expression instantly softening slightly. He could tolerate her harmless little tantrums, as long as she remained as sensible as before. "I'm not throwing a tantrum anymore. I came to you to sign the divorce papers." I cut him off directly and handed over the divorce agreement. Owen's face darkened instantly. "Beth, what are you making a fuss about now? Is it because Shulu moved in?" She already explained. She's being harassed by obsessive fans. Owen snapped at me in an irritated tone. I knew it. He preferred docile women. My repeated demands for divorce were pushing him to his limit. But I ignored his anger and spoke firmly again. It has nothing to do with her. I just want a divorce from you. I didn't want to drag this out with him. He thought I was just throwing a tantrum. My years of humble gestures had convinced him I wouldn't actually go through with the divorce. This is truly a terrible realization. Owen, I'm being completely serious with you. I want a divorce. I sighed and repeated it again with full seriousness. I hoped he would see my determination, sign the papers quickly, so I could leave with Choo-Choo. Owen seemed to finally take my words seriously, staring at me for a long time. Finally, he spoke gloomily. Beth, you're the one who wants a divorce. Don't regret it after we're done. He snatched the divorce agreement from my hand, signed it quickly, tossed it back to me, then turned and slammed the door on his way out. I picked up the agreement, my gaze falling on the place where he had signed. As I looked, tears began to roll down my cheeks. 5 years of marriage. 5 years of loving him. At this moment, it all came to an end. I wiped away my tears, took the divorce agreement, and turned to leave the room. Little did I expect to run into Shulu at the door. Miss Cole, I've already told you I was just staying temporarily. Owen and I are innocent. You're already married to Owen. Why can't you be content and stop causing trouble with him? Her first words were accusations against me, as if marrying Owen was some great blessing. Back when I was deeply in love, I used to think the same way. Now, it just makes me sick. I looked up at Shulu. I could see jealousy and dissatisfaction in her eyes, but I had no intention of arguing with her. Your affairs are none of my business. I'm already divorced from Owen. Owen went out of his way to deny being married and having children, all for her sake. She also defends Owen at every turn. With such mutual affection between them, it really shouldn't be me standing in the way of their reconciliation. A flash of joy crossed Shulu's eyes, but she quickly feigned an apologetic look toward me. Miss Cole, I didn't want to hear her absurdly fake explanations. The moment she began speaking, I turned and walked away. Everything is packed up, and now that the divorce papers are signed, Choo-Choo and I can finally leave this place. As I dragged the suitcase and held Choo-Choo's hand to go downstairs, Shulu came up to us. Miss Cole, if you leave like this, Owen will be angry. Shut up. If you want to quickly climb the ranks to become Gray's wife, don't come nagging in front of me now. Shulu immediately stepped aside and stopped pretending to say any words of persuasion. She wanted to establish her persona, but I didn't have time to indulge her. I took the child and left the Gray residence, heading straight to the airport. The moment I stepped onto the plane, my heart ached with bitterness. 5 years ago, I arrived here full of anticipation, carrying all my love for Owen. Now, leaving this place feels like nothing but relief. Beth, I had just stepped out of the airport with Choo-Choo when someone called out to me. Following the familiar voice, I saw the man I hadn't met in 8 years. The indulgent smile in his eyes instantly made my nose sting with emotion. Chinyu, you're finally back. My throat felt as if it were choked, aching painfully. He strode towards us, then tightly pulled me into his embrace with such force that it hurt a little. Beth, I've come to pick you up. Let's go home. Okay. On the way back, he held my hand tightly the whole time, as if afraid I might leave. Chinyu and I grew up together as childhood friends. Since we were little, he always protected me like an older brother, and even our parents arranged a betrothal for us. Back then, I also thought I would marry him when we grew up, but later, during my senior year of high school, he joined the military and disappeared from my world. During the years he was gone, I met Owen. I was immersed in Owen's web of lies, chasing after Owen, and completely missed him. Not long ago, he returned from military service to take over the family business, and I didn't even have the courage to send him a message. It wasn't until my marriage with Owen hit a rough patch that he reappeared in my world. He seemed to have become my strong support from the moment he appeared. When Chinyu dropped me and the child off at our doorstep, he didn't come in. He just patted my head with a smile. You two go in first to see your uncle and aunt. I have something to talk to you about later. Watching Chinyu's retreating figure, I took a deep breath and mustered the courage to push open the front door. The moment my eyes met my parents, I hesitated, unable to step forward. I feared their scolding, feared they might disown me as their daughter, until I heard my mother's voice. "Beth, you're back." Mom instantly rushed from the sofa and held me tightly in her arms. The tears I'd been holding back the entire journey could no longer be contained and began rolling down. "You're back, so why are you still standing at the door instead of coming in?" Dad's stern voice came through as he sat on the sofa, stubbornly refusing to look at me. I knew he was still angry with me. Mom pulled me and Choo-Choo into the house, and we sat down on the sofa. "Mom, Dad, I'm back, millimeter." Dad gave a faint hum in response. I knew he was still angry with me. It was my fault for not listening to him and marrying someone I shouldn't have. As their gazes turned to Choo-Choo, I felt a pang of worry. I got divorced, and the child is with me. Dad got angry in an instant, but Mom pulled him back. And in the end, he only let out a cold snort. Mom held Choo-Choo in her arms and spoke with heartache. "If the divorce happens, then it happens. Your parents can afford to raise both of you. From now on, Choo-Choo will be the treasure of our Cole family." My dad looked at me with a cold expression. "Your mother is right. Our Cole family can afford to raise a daughter and a grandson." For the first time, she felt the love from her grandparents, and her tense little face finally relaxed. She shouted with a smile, "Grandpa, Grandma." That very shout touched my parents' hearts deeply. My father's deliberately cold expression finally softened, and he couldn't help but hold Choo-Choo tightly in his arms with heartache. Watching the affectionate scene between the three generations, my tears kept rolling down uncontrollably. Thankfully, my parents didn't abandon me. Thankfully, they love Choo-Choo dearly. Thankfully, my home has always been there. After putting Choo-Choo to sleep at night, Chinu sent me a message, wanting to talk. As I went downstairs, it began to snow, and he stood under the streetlight, waiting for me to approach. "Beth, it's snowing." Watching the falling snowflakes, through the gaps of light, my memories instantly returned to 8 years ago. It was snowing that day too. Chinu called me downstairs. I thought he was going to take me to play in the snow, but instead, he said he was leaving. At that time, I was too childish. I cried and scolded him for a long time, even threatening that if he left, I wouldn't want him anymore. Now, 8 years have passed, and everything has changed beyond recognition. I'm no longer childish and understand his choice. Everyone must take responsibility for the path they choose to walk. "Beth, I regret it." He silently gazed at me, the corners of his eyes turning red. I knew what he wanted to say, but it no longer mattered. "Chinu, what's past is past. You've never wronged me. I want to look forward, so let's not talk about the past anymore." "Okay." I smiled at him. He never wronged me. He was my companion in youth, but he never owed me anything. Everything that happened to me is my own fault. It has nothing to do with him. "All right, I'll do as you say." He gently stroked the top of my head, making me feel a deep sense of security from the heart. When I was at Owen's house, every day I thought about pleasing him, hoping he would treat us mother and daughter better, afraid that he would get angry and leave us. My life revolved around Owen every moment, hesitation, unease, and now, staying by Chinu's side. I found a long-lost sense of peace. "Chinu, didn't you have something to tell me? What is it?" I looked at him with confusion. I wondered what he wanted to discuss so seriously with me. Chinu lowered his head to look at me upon hearing this, his deep eyes filled with determination and sincerity. "Beth, I like you. I've liked you for many years. We missed a few years between us, but now that you're back, I won't let go. Let's be together. Let me take care of you and Choo-Choo. I will cherish Choo-Choo as if she were my own biological daughter." I listened as Chinu's tears kept rolling down uncontrollably, and all those youthful affections came rushing back to me in an instant. He grew up with me, giving me the best care and protection. He was the childhood friend who would always stand by my side, and also someone I secretly had feelings for in the past. But at this moment, I felt overwhelmingly sad. Chinu is still waiting for me where he is, holding on to his feelings, but I've already walked far away. "Beth, why are you crying?" He flusteredly wiped away my tears, his eyes filled with urgency. I gazed earnestly at the man before me, and after a long while, finally spoke slowly. Chinyu, I understand your feelings, but I can't accept them. I've just come out of a terrible marriage and don't have any intention of starting a new relationship right now. Besides, I have a child with me, which makes me unsuitable for you. You should find someone more suitable. To me, Choo-Choo is my treasure, not a burden. But for a family like Chinyu's, being with a woman who's been married before and has a child isn't appropriate. We've already missed our chance, and there won't be another opportunity. Hearing my rejection, Chinyu was somewhat saddened, yet remained resolute. Beth, I've already addressed all your concerns. From now on, Choo-Choo will be my daughter. Before coming to see you, I also made everything clear to my parents, and they support my decision. Beth, in this lifetime, it has to be you. He held my hand tightly, speaking each word with utmost sincerity. I understood his feelings, but I had my own reservations. Chinyu, Beth, I know what you want to say. No matter what, I'll wait for you. I'll wait until you emerge from the shadows of your previous marriage, until you're ready to accept me. He was stubborn and resolute. His words made my nose sting with emotion. I chose to divorce and start anew, and not only my parents accepted me, but so did he. At this moment, I felt as if he had never left, always by my side. Yet, the failed marriage made me too afraid to move forward. Chinyu, I'm sorry. That night, I rejected Chinyu, yet during this time, he has been by my and Choo-Choo's side almost constantly. Aside from sleeping, he's always there. Chinyu, you can go attend to your work. I can handle these things myself. Watching him bustle about tirelessly, I couldn't help but feel helpless. These days, he accompanied us to buy daily necessities and went with me to find a kindergarten for Choo-Choo. Almost everything was taken care of by him without me having to lift a finger. Just like when we were young, his kindness towards me has never changed. It's fine, my assistant keeps me updated on company matters. Right now, I just want to be with you and Choo-Choo. Choo-Choo, do you want Uncle Chin to stay with you? He held Choo-Choo in his arms, playing with her. When Choo-Choo first came back, she was also reluctant to get close to Chinyu. This father had brought her many bad experiences, making her very sensitive. But after spending so many days together, she could feel that Chinyu's affection for her was genuine. She began to accept him. Even to like him. I think Uncle Chin is accompanying Choo-Choo, and Choo-Choo is extremely, extremely happy. With that, Choo-Choo coquettishly asked Chinyu to accompany her to play. The two of them rolled around on the trampoline, laughing with pure joy. Hearing my daughter's laughter, I unexpectedly felt a lump in my throat. In the past, Choo-Choo also wanted Owen to play with her, but Owen was always too busy, always putting her off with promises of next time. Without her father's long-term companionship, she became silent and sensitive. During this time with Chinyu as company, Choo-Choo's personality has become much more cheerful, and I can feel her happiness, watching Chinyu indulge her antics and play along with her. For a moment I thought that being with Chinyu might not be so bad. He would probably make a great father. But as soon as such thoughts surfaced, I quickly suppressed them. Chinyu deserves a better life and shouldn't be dragged down by me. Owen, you're back. Owen had just returned from the film set when Shulu warmly greeted him. She had specially put on makeup today and prepared Owen's favorite dishes, hoping to take their relationship to the next level. Now there were no obstacles between her and Owen. She was confident she could make Owen change his mind, and equally confident she could become Mrs. Gray. She smiled and linked her arm with Owen's, pulling him toward the dining table. Owen calmly brushed her hand away. When he saw his favorite dishes on the table, his brows furrowed tightly. Before, Beth had also been well aware of his preferences. Every time he returned home from filming, she would prepare a table full of such dishes to please him. He also accepted her feelings and ate with great satisfaction. But now, seeing these dishes again, he only felt irritation. I'm tired today. I won't eat. I'm going back to my room first. Owen ignored Shulu's attempts to stop him, turned around, and went upstairs to the bedroom. Halfway down the stairs, he suddenly remembered something and turned back to look at Shulu. The stalker who harassed you has been caught, and security around your place has been upgraded. You can move back now. Shulu stared at him in shock, hardly believing these words had come from his mouth. Owen, are you kicking me out? It's not good for you to keep staying at my place. Especially since I'm married now, my wife would mind, but didn't you get divorced? As soon as her words fell, Owen snapped angrily, "We're not divorced, Beth is just throwing a tantrum, and this is a matter between my wife and me. Miss Shu, you've overstepped." Owen finished speaking and went upstairs without looking back, leaving Shu Lu standing dumbfounded in the living room. She clenched her fists tightly. Her eyes filled with anger. Owen, how could he treat her like this? Has he fallen for that woman? Owen returned to his room and collapsed onto the bed, exhausted. He was also surprised by the words he had just spoken. They flowed so smoothly, as if he had always believed them. Beth was his wife, the mistress of the household. It was only natural for her to mind. At first, she got upset with him over these matters and threatened to divorce him. He thought she would quickly come back to apologize and make peace. But unexpectedly, this time the conflict dragged on for so long. Perhaps it was because she loved him too much. Shu Lu's appearance made her jealous. Which is why she acted out with him. At first, he wanted to teach her a lesson, to make her learn to behave. Now, he thinks that when it comes to his woman, just pampering and coaxing her is enough. Why bother arguing over so much? These days, with her and the child not at home, he feels like nothing is quite right. Without even realizing it, he had long grown accustomed to the presence of the mother and daughter. She's been jealous for him for so long. It's no big deal for him to swallow his pride and coax her. Having made up his mind, he immediately sent a message to his assistant, "Book me a flight to Beijing." Half an hour later, the assistant had already booked the ticket and came to the villa to pick him up. As Owen was coming downstairs, Shu Lu heard the noise and immediately rushed out of her room. "Owen, where are you going so late at night?" Owen ignored her, coldly tossing back a sentence, "I hope you've moved out of here by the time I return." Upon hearing this, Shu Lu instantly broke down, completely losing the composure of a former best actress. She screamed hysterically, "Owen, you and Beth are already divorced. Don't you love me? Why are you treating me like this?" When I got the call from the kindergarten saying something had happened to Choo Choo, I was so scared I almost lost my soul. By the time I rushed to the hospital, Choo Choo was having her wounds bandaged, with Chin Yu keeping her company. "Don't be afraid, Choo Choo, Uncle is here with you." "Choo Choo, Mommy is here. Do you have any other injuries? Tell Mommy, okay?" I quickly rushed over and checked her thoroughly from head to toe. Apart from the already bandaged wound on his forehead, there were no other injuries. My anxious heart finally settled down. On the way to the hospital, I had already learned from the teacher that Choo Choo had a conflict with a classmate, but the exact reason was still unclear. "Don't worry, I've already had the doctor check him, and there are no other issues." Chin Yu held Choo Choo in his arms, gently comforting me. His comfort was indeed very effective, alleviating my fear and unease along the way. "How come you're here? Didn't you go to the company today? The school teacher couldn't reach you at first, so they contacted me instead. I went for an interview today and had my phone on silent. When enrolling back then, I left my parents' phone number, while Chin Yu left his. I thought it wasn't a good idea at the time, but who knew it would come in handy today. Thank you for today. I said I would protect you both, and I meant it." On the way back, Chin Yu held Choo Choo the entire time, and she clung to him as well, unwilling to leave his arms for even a moment. Chin Yu kept playing with her, and only after seeing her emotions stabilize did I begin to ask about what happened that day. "Choo Choo, can you tell Mommy why you got into a fight with the other kids today? The teacher told me that Choo Choo was the first to hit someone, and then the boy pushed her, causing her to bump into the corner of a desk. But I believe in my daughter, she wouldn't hit someone without a reason. There must have been other things that happened in between." Choo Choo looked at me, and her lips suddenly trembled. "My classmate said I don't have a father, that I'm a bastard." "Mommy, I'm not a bastard, am I?" Hearing this, my heart ached sharply. My daughter had suffered such great humiliation in places unknown to me. I stroked her tear-streaked little face and told her very seriously, "At first, there were Mommy and Daddy, but they separated because of some things. Mommy will give you all her love and won't let you feel wronged anymore. Mommy will talk to the teacher and make the other child apologize to you." Choo Choo nodded tearfully, then looked at Chin Yu with affection. "Uncle, can Choo Choo discuss something with you?" Chi-Nu's eyes were filled with heartache, and I could sense the restrained anger in him upon hearing Choo-Choo's words. He looked directly into Choo-Choo's eyes and forced a smile. What does Choo-Choo want to say? Your uncle and mommy's precious one, and uncle will agree to whatever you want. I want Uncle Chin to be my dad. I really like you, uncle. At first when these words were spoken, the anticipation was overwhelming. With eyes fixed intently on Chi-Nu, fearing he might refuse, Chi-Nu was taken aback upon hearing this. He hadn't expected the child to make such a request. With reddened eyes, he responded earnestly and resolutely, Uncle promises you, Uncle is willing to be Choo-Choo's father. Choo-Choo looked at me again. Mommy, Uncle is my daddy now, right? Seeing the hopeful look in my daughter's eyes, the words of refusal stuck in my throat, impossible to utter. I was well aware of Chi-Nu's efforts during this time. True to his promise, he had treated Choo-Choo as lovingly as his own daughter. At first, whenever anything happened, he was always the first to appear. Everyone has a heart of flesh, how could I not feel his sincerity? The two of them looked at me in unison, their faces, one big, one small, pressed together. All I could do was nod, yay. Mom agreed, from now on, Uncle will be my dad, I have a dad now. At first, she shouted happily, then planted a firm kiss on Chi-Nu's face the next second. She really liked Chi-Nu a lot. Daddy has a daughter now too, thank you, Choo-Choo, for being willing to be my daughter. Chi-Nu, a grown man, actually started crying. He held Choo-Choo in one arm and tightly grasped my hand with the other, unwilling to let go even a little. As for me, at this moment, I also wanted to be true to my heart. I had feelings for Chi-Nu. Perhaps, this isn't so bad after all. Chi-Nu and I went to the kindergarten to settle Choo-Choo's matters. Initially, the boy's parents refused to apologize, but it was Chi-Nu who swiftly resolved the matter. Chi-Nu is the heir of the Chin family. When the boy's parents learned his identity, they feared losing their jobs and their child being forced to transfer schools, so they eventually apologized obediently. Back when I was with Owen, Choo-Choo also had conflicts with classmates in kindergarten, but every time, I had to handle it myself. Owen never showed up. He's either busy or worried about paparazzi. He has countless excuses for not being involved in the child's upbringing. Now, with Chi-Nu by my side, I feel like I have someone to rely on, and I don't have to raise the child alone. Chi-Nu, thank you, I'm truly grateful that he's still here. Chi-Nu stared at me for a long moment before helplessly pulling me into his embrace. Beth, I don't want to hear you say thank you. It makes me feel like an outsider. I'm now Choo-Choo's father. I have both the duty and responsibility to protect you and Choo-Choo. You can rely on me. His words made my heart feel warm, yet the feeling of leaning against his chest was so comforting. Chi-Nu, I want to be brave enough to get closer to you. Please stay by my side. When Chi-Nu and I walked hand in hand to the building downstairs, Owen suddenly appeared. What are you doing? Dressed entirely in black, he was now staring at us intently, his expression extremely gloomy. Beth, I am your husband. Are you holding hands with another man as if I were dead? Owen stepped forward, trying to pull me to his side, but Chi-Nu shielded me and avoided him. Chi-Nu looked at me, his brows slightly furrowed, as if he wanted to say something but hesitated. I held his hand, giving it a reassuring squeeze before turning to look at Owen. Owen, we're already divorced, we have no relationship now, and who I hold hands with is none of your concern. Owen's expression instantly darkened. I don't agree to the divorce. I'm Choo-Choo's father. Do you really want our child to grow up without a dad? It's a fact that we're divorced. Your disagreement is meaningless. As for Choo-Choo, you don't need to worry about her. Having a father like you is her real misfortune. Owen, stop bothering us. We're doing just fine now. With that, I took Chi-Nu's hand and left. I couldn't stand the sight of Owen for another second. The person I once loved so deeply now fills me with nothing but visceral disgust. How things have changed. Beth, I won't allow it. Owen tried to pull me again, but was knocked to the ground by a punch from Chi-Nu. Chi-Nu glared at him coldly, delivering several more fierce punches before finally stopping. I've wanted to punch you for a long time. A scumbag like you doesn't deserve Beth. If you bother that mother and daughter again, I won't hesitate to ruin you. Owen had lived a life of being the center of attention for so many years. This was the first time someone dared to hit him. and his face turned extremely ugly. "Do you know who I am? I'll make you pay for this." He threw down harsh words, only to be met with Qin Yu's light chuckle. "Make me pay the price? Ha! Do you even dare to weigh yourself against the Qin Corporation?" Owen's expression grew increasingly grim. He never expected the man before him to be the recently returned heir of the Qin family, much less that he would be Beth's new lover. "Beth, as a single mother, do you really think you can marry into the Qin family? Coming back to me is the only right choice. I'll publicly acknowledge you and our child, and give you everything you want. Beth, I'm begging you, please." Owen was trying to reconcile with me, yet he kept belittling me all the same. He wasn't asking for help at all, it was clearly a condescending attitude. I only felt utterly mocked that such a disgusting man could have held my love for 5 years. "I don't want it anymore, Owen, get lost." I ignored Owen's plea for reconciliation, pulling Qin Yu away without looking back. As soon as we entered the room, Qin Yu held me tightly in his arms. "Beth, I was so afraid you'd leave with him and abandon me." He had always been confident in himself, but when it came to loving Beth, he felt insecure. He was afraid he couldn't compare to Beth and Owen's 5-year marriage. He feared that Beth still loved Owen in her heart. I reached out to smooth his lightly furrowed brow, looking at his aggrieved expression, and inexplicably laughed. "Qin Yu, I like you, I really do." After confirming my feelings, I didn't want to be stingy with him. He gave me all his love, and naturally, I wanted to reciprocate with all my heart. Qin Yu seemed unable to believe it, holding my face and gazing at me for a long while. "Beth, I've finally waited for you." His voice trembled with excitement. The next moment, he caressed my lips and leaned down to kiss me. At that moment, I felt my heart trembling. Yet, I also felt an indescribable sense of peace. Owen had been shutting himself in since meeting Beth, drowning himself in alcohol day after day. Shulu watched his defeated state, feeling both angry and jealous inside. Back when they broke up, Owen didn't drown his sorrows like this. Now that he's acting this way over a woman, she's utterly furious. "Owen, she's just a worthless woman. Is she really worth reducing yourself to this pathetic state? Turn around and look at me. I can help you take your career to the next level. We're the perfect match." Owen lifted his head from the wine bottle and roared angrily, "Don't you dare speak of Beth like that. She's my wife, the woman I love most." He deeply regretted everything he had done, regretted hurting both mother and daughter. Before, he had only seen Beth as a woman he married to get back at Shulu, just a fixture at home to bear his children. Beth loved him so much, always obeyed him. He never thought Beth would leave. He always thought her words were just her being temperamental, and that she could be coaxed back. It wasn't until Beth left that he realized he had long fallen in love with her, and his world simply couldn't be without her. By the time he understood everything, it was too late. Beth wouldn't come back. It was only recently that he came to understand. Beth had once loved him and thus accommodated him, indulged him. Now that she no longer loves him, she left with absolute resolve. "You love her, then what about me?" Hearing these words, Shulu felt nothing but anger and absurdity. "Owen, do you have any idea how disgusted you make me feel? All these years I've been abroad, Beth loved you, yet you kept pretending to be devoted to me, making me believe you wanted to come back and start over. But now you tell me you love Beth. What do you take us for? You don't deserve anyone. You deserve to die alone." After Shulu left, Owen started drinking heavily again. Only alcohol could numb the pain in his heart. Shulu was right. His current predicament was entirely self-inflicted. If only he had realized sooner that he loved Beth. If he hadn't hurt Beth, everything would have been different. I heard about Owen again online. His reputation collapsed. It was exposed that he was married with children but claimed to be single, while also being involved in ambiguous situations with Shulu. Shulu quickly distanced herself from him, and people who had previous conflicts with him also released a lot of damaging information about him. His endorsements were gone, his new drama was shelved, and he was practically blacklisted across the entire internet. But he didn't offer any explanation, only posting on Weibo, "You reap what you sow." After that, he vanished without a trace. At this moment, Qin Yu had just managed to lull Chu-Chu to sleep and stepped out of the room. I pointed at the tablet and asked him, "Did you do this?" He snorted coldly, his eyes filled with disgust. He got what he deserved. You may forgive him for what he did to you, but I won't. In the video, he made a serious statement, his tone filled with warning. I couldn't help but be moved by his protection towards me and my daughter, looking at his handsome face. I couldn't resist leaning in to give him a kiss. Chinyu, it's so good to have you. My initiative took him by surprise. After a brief pause, he pulled me into his arms and kissed me deeply. After a long silence, a childish voice suddenly rang out, "Mommy, Daddy, I had a nightmare and I'm scared. Can you sleep with me?" Looking at the pitiful Choo-Choo, we exchanged a smile and said in unison, "Okay, thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. So feel free to share your opinions, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more great stories. We'll see you in the next video.